So we talked a little about Morgan Frost earlier, Charlie, and
Right.
happy to see him producing just because it's got to feel good. Like I like when dudes are feeling good, feeling their game, and there's nothing like a clutch goal to really get you going. But we talked in pregame. I just don't see a long-term fit here. You mentioned, and I think this is a big part of it. Listen, Jet Luchenko just made the team this year. Now, like, was he ready? I don't know. I don't know if I see 1C in him, but yeah, man, perfect middle six center at the very least, I think. And you look at Sean Couturier, he's scoring now. It's going well. But ultimately, we've said, like, dude needs to be Jordan Stahl for this team. That's what it's, especially when you look down the line. Like, right now, we're getting 20 minutes a night out of Sean Couturier. What's it going to be when Michkov is in his prime? You're hoping he's still a productive 3C at that point. Morgan Frost is not a 1C. He is 25 years old. I am positive of that. And if he's not that, where does he fit?
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's a reasonable question. But the other point I made in the article I wrote for allphly.com, check that out, it's for diehards only, is that while I agree with you, Bill, that I am struggling to see a long-term fit unless the Flyers are just accepting the fact that their centers are going to stink for the next 6 years relative to cup contenders. Because, like, and I don't dislike any of these players, but if you're going up against true cup contenders and you're rolling Morgan Frost, Jet Luchenko, or at least what I think Jet Luchenko is most likely to become, and Sean Couturier, every single cup contender is going to have better centers than you. Like, they just will. And I don't think that's something you want to accept. So unless you're willing to just accept that, then you need to upgrade at center. And that's why it's a struggle to see where Morgan Frost fits if you operate on the assumption that Luchenko and Couturier are both pretty much locked in. Luchenko because they love him, Couturier because he's under contract with a massive cap hit and he has trade protection. However, despite the fact that I struggle to see maybe where Frost fits long-term, he is very necessary short-term if you look at it in that this year, probably the most important thing about the season is to develop Matvei Michkov. And if you're trying to develop Matvei Michkov as a rookie, and if you're trying to develop his offense and turn him into a better 5-on-5 player who starts scoring and producing in that situation, not just on the power play, you really would love to give him a center that can actually help him produce offensively. Sean Couturier is the team's best center. He's starting to score more. However, I don't want Michkov taking the kinds of matchups that you ask Sean Couturier to take. I don't think he's ready for that on a nightly basis, especially if you're trying to ease him a little bit into being the 5-on-5 monster that we're hoping he's ultimately going to become. I don't love, like, if there was a world where Sean Couturier was functionally the third line center, I'd have no problem with him with Michkov. But as long as he's the 1C, getting all the tough minutes and basically playing Selke level matchups, I don't really want Michkov with him. So I don't really want him with Couturier. I don't want him with any of Poehling, Cates, or Lawton. I just don't. You know, they're all NHL centers, but none of them have the kind of skill that I want them the pivot on a Michkov line. So if you want to give Michkov the best chance of producing offensively and developing his 5-on-5 offensive game as a rookie, you need a skilled center. Morgan Frost is their only offensively skilled center. Now, if there's a world where you can trade for another offensively skilled center, then sure, Morgan Frost is no longer essential to this season. But right now, he's the only guy on this team who makes logical sense to me as Michkov center. So yes, I agree with you. Long-term, I'm struggling to see the fit unless Frost takes a big step in the next few weeks, years, whatever. But I do think he is very important to this team in the short term, which I think is the reason why he hasn't been traded yet, despite the fact that Tortorella is Tortorellaing with him. And this has been a thing for the last 2-3 years. That's why I don't think he's been traded, because they want him around to help Michkov, especially as a rookie.
We all silly like the mayor.